all the energy around you and in you is storing the information called the subconscious. Like I said, it doesn't think, it doesn't care what you want, it knows how it's programmed. So, for instance, you decide you'd like to break a habit. Well, what is a habit? Habit is something that is on a loop in the automatic mind. It's something you've been doing over and over. Remember, the subconscious is based on the repetition of pleasure or pain. So if you're getting pleasure out of something and you keep doing it, you encode and make the folder, right, for goodness bigger and bigger and bigger around that thing. You love it. It's the same thing about something disagreeable. Let's say you've had something disagreeable happen in your life, or it didn't happen in your life, but you kept hearing about it. Check this out. You keep hearing about something that was terrible. The subconscious, listening to this story, cannot perceive or conceive of something that's not really happening. It's happening. Whether you believe it or not, this is deep. You're watching television. Did you know that if you see a lion, a tiger, a bear, a spider, or something that could cause states of fear on the television, on the screen, or YouTube, or wherever, did you know that your subconscious thinks that that's actually happening? When you see a lion, you automatically, naturally going to run. But you don't run from the lion because your conscious mind, right, is suppressing the natural vibration to get away from the lion on television. Because, you know, subconscious is, it's not programmed like the conscious mind. It's automatic. Its thing is to save you. Its thing is to get away from things that could be causing harm and move towards things that are actually going to be better. But sometimes what's better is worse, because something, like I said, the grandpa's cigarettes, even though you love grandpa and it's a good feeling, the cigarettes are hurting you. So there's a little switch that happens in the brain between the two brains, and it's like a little war goes on. So if something happens good over and over and over, everything about it gets stored, the memory of it, and it is triggered because the subconscious is recording constantly. The subconscious mind is a recording device, but it also is a playback device. It is recording and playing back every event. They're all online, everything. There is no past. It's all happening. And it's triggered and causes you to have states of emotion or feeling by what? Sometimes you smell something, or you'll see something, or you'll touch something, and it will open that file up, and you will act out automatically based on what was stored in that file. So if it's something really good, you're going to have these states of consciousness that are elated, that are feeling good, because the file, right, or the energy that is happening in the environment is causing that file to open up. The subconscious knows everything that has happened in you. And I'm going to give you one more little piece. A portion of your subconscious was downloaded when you were a baby from your mother. It's a certain section of your subconscious that was given to you by your mother. So her feelings around things, her perception around things was given to you from your mother. She got some from her mother and her mother and her mother and her mother. So some of this is almost ancestral like. It's not in the DNA, it's in the energy field. So you are not totally you. In fact, the subconscious, right? How can I say this? Who you think you are may not be who you are, because who your conscious mind thinks you are is only 5% of the programming. 95% of who you are, what you feel, and what you're doing, unless you're totally conscious and you've done the work, is all subconscious. Where's my notes? 90% of your life is automatic. You don't have to learn it again because the subconscious is doing it. So if something is triggering you in the conscious mind, and there's a whole folder or folders or a whole bookshelf based on the fear, the anger, or whatever it is, it unfolds. It's the repetition of things happening over and over, whether they're words, sounds, that programs that subconscious. So those states of consciousness, which we think we can control, are on automatic. The subconscious is the body mind. It has a lot to do with feeling because everything that you feel is in the body. It's a feeling. I just got a feeling. You get a feeling that, it's time to go. I just got a gut feeling it's time to go. Well, that's a combination of your subconscious and then the friendly bacteria and the bundle of nerves in your gut called the solar plexus, all triggering you, telling you that something could threaten our survival, because the subconscious is always attempting to get you to survive. But there's a glitch. Let's say you're 5 years old and something happens and it's traumatic. You are the captain of the ship. So you have a certain amount of emotion around the event at 5 years old. Subconscious picks up the emotion that you're experiencing. If the emotion is a mood, then it's temporary. If the emotion is happening for more than 7 days, it becomes a temperament. You're thinking about it, you're feeling it, you're remembering it, you're feeling it. It becomes a temperament. If a temperament happens for more than 21 days, then it becomes a part of your character. When you do things over and over and over, say you do something 7 times. So like when I'm teaching people to play an instrument or whatever, or learn something new, you do it 7 times and the subconscious says, okay, this is something we need to record. If it happens 14 times, it says, oh, the program is deep, go broader, give it full spectrum recording time, turn the volume up. After it happens 21 times, it becomes automatic. This is why you could break a habit. You could break a heroin habit in 21 days because that's part of your subconscious and your limbic system, all your nerves and your cells, which are being triggered by the drug. Not all drugs, but that's one drug that takes about 2 weeks to really break if you could stay away from it. If at 5 years old, you're triggered by something and it seems to keep happening because you keep thinking about it. You stay in the vibration of it. That mood has become a temperament, which has become part of your character. It's locked into a folder. Now, here you are at 25, and you would like to erase that program or change that program because whatever it was is not working out for you. It's not, something that's conducive anymore. Keep in mind, the average adult lives life as an adult based on the conclusions of a child. I want to say that again. The average adult lives life as an adult based on the conclusions of a child. The conclusions of a child. So how you're living, how you're acting is based on the conclusions that you made as a child. What conclusions that you had? Your parents gave you a bunch of conclusions. What was good? What was bad? What's ugly? What's beautiful? What's tasty? What's not? You learn all your traditions, all your stuff as a child. It gets programmed in deep. Your parents are giving you like a pen that writes with indelible ink to write your story out, to write your script. It's like a movie. Your parents are programming you. They're attempting to, in their own minds, help you survive. Whatever. Depends on what kind of parents you got. They're attempting to give you their best, but what they got a lot of times, the program that they received was not the best programming. So most of us received a program as a child that says everything's going to be hard. It's a struggle out there. It's going to be hard to keep a job. It's going to be hard to graduate. It's going to be hard to get an A. You got to get an A. If you don't get an A, then use a dummy. You see what I'm saying? If you don't do this, then you're that. If you don't look a certain way, then you're not that pretty. You're not that good. And people that are dark skinned only get this, and what light skinned people only get that. You get all of these stories and what religion you should be to be righteous, what God is, what happiness is, what joy is, what tastes good, what food is nutrition, what food is not. All of these programs were given to you as a child. All these ideas, which became ideals, were given to you as a child. And those conclusions, which may not be accurate, now you have them as an adult. And as an adult, you are living living life as a child, and you're reacting and acting and pre-acting and premonitioning all these things based on the child, because the child now has a perspective that it passes on to you as the adult. And you, when you get of age, you have to begin to break the old programming. You have to be ready to break that spell. So the spell breakers come, right, when you now are beginning to be wise about your movements, wise about what you do, and realize that some of the stuff that you got from the parents, you got to get rid of, because this stuff is poisonous, or it's toxic, or it's very good. Some of the stuff you receive from your parents is really good stuff. See, your parents taught you how to live and how not to live. They showed you how to live and how not to live. They made missteps, and they were not perfect. They had stuff going on. We can't imagine what our parents were going on when we were children. But when you heard the news over and over and over, like when I was a child, it was all Walter Cronkite was on the air. It was the Vietnam War. And he kept saying, that's the way it is. And here he is, right? He's got on a trench coat. This is Walter Cronkite. He's supposed to be in Vietnam. They're showing palm trees in the back, right? He's supposed to be the greatest newsman in the world. He's got on a trench coat. And I'm asking my father, I said, Dad, how come the man, his name is Walter Cronkite? Is anybody else ever named Cronkite? What kind of name is that? You see what I'm saying? Crown Kite. It's like he's the crown. He flies the highest. He knows the most. And he's the king of the news. Right? But he's always moving the paper and always moving the mic back and forth, which is causing hypnotism, because he's causing the state of consciousness to go between the conscious and the subconscious. He's creating a theta state. He's taking you into illusion, right? He's taking you into the state where, there's cognitive dissonance. What they're showing you and what you're hearing is differing events that you begin to take that in as real, because it's on television. You're being entrained. So my question to my father was, because I was always trying to figure things out. I said, well, why does he have on a trench coat? Isn't a trench coat worn in the winter when it's really cold? He's got this thing buttoned all the way up. Isn't it like 120 degrees in Vietnam? This is because he was in a newsroom, right, with a green screen or a blue screen or whatever behind him, whatever they used back then. And we thought this was real. So we were reacting, and what was being put in our programming every day, every night, 6 o'clock news, 7 o'clock news, the 11 o'clock news. People felt it was real because those emotions that they gave you on the screen, you programmed as a child as being real.